Welcome to Behind the Investigation on Atlanta News First. I'm investigative reporter Andy Parati, and joining me now is Chief Investigative Reporter Brendan Keefe. How you doing, Brendan?
Hi, Andy.
So this investigation is crazy. I was watching it going, what am I going to do the next time that I purchase a car? Because I just paid my car off, and I was thinking as I'm watching this piece going, how do I not fall victim to this? Bring us up to speed.
Yeah, you know, what we do at Atlanta News First Investigates is we don't do one-off investigations of one person with a problem. We try to take that person with an issue and expand it out and see, is this a systemic or institutional failure? This one is. It's called VIN swapping or VIN switching. It's also called VIN flipping. What the VIN is the vehicle identification number. It's that number under your windshield on the driver's side. It's also on your title. It's more important than your registration because it's essentially the vehicle's serial number that's used for tracking that vehicle, for financing that vehicle. And it turns out people are using fake documents to get real titles. Certain states will issue real titles with limited documentation for essentially stolen cars. You've created a car that doesn't exist, and that car can end up for sale at a dealership. And that's where our innocent victim showed up to buy a car, placing down her hard-earned money. And next thing you know, there are police at the door taking that car away.
Police department.
I don't know who to trust.
There's a possibility that car is stolen. If it's stolen, you know about it.
Oh no, I have no idea. And I will call everybody that I can call to show that I have no idea about it.
If you don't cooperate.
I feel like I don't know what to do. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know where to go.
Police aren't here for Chidima Okoro. They're here for the single mother's family car.
They came to me and took it from me.
They're gonna need the keys.
Did you have any reason to suspect that this was a stolen car?
A stolen vehicle from a dealership? No.
Chidima bought the car from Honda South in Metro Atlanta. She had no idea the dealership had sold her a stolen car until special agents contacted her and peeled back the vehicle identification number.
That's the VIN.
The original was hidden under the one they sold me.
You're saying there was a fake VIN number on top of the real one?
Yes.
Let's pull the Carfax. The real VIN goes back to 2016 when the Cherokee was first purchased in New Hampshire. Plenty of history before it's sold again in upstate New York, where it completely vanishes in 2020. That's about the same time it suddenly shows up in Alabama. The very first Carfax record shows that the SUV already had 42,000 miles on it. A 2017 model year with no history for 3 years? They're the same car with two different VINs. One real, one a complete fabrication.
These cars had their VIN numbers switched out.
The vehicle identification number, or VIN, is the first thing these thieves need changed.
People might take your VIN number in order to do something called VIN flipping, to re-VIN and replate vehicles that were stolen.
It's happening from coast to coast and in every state in between.
Changing the VIN and then using stolen title documents from other states to get the cars retitled here in Ohio.
And then they're creating a fake title, and then they're pushing the title through county clerk's office. You've essentially created a car that doesn't exist.
Police have no choice but to seize the stolen cars from the drivers who otherwise legitimately bought them.
These cars are stolen.
When the car's stolen, it's not legitimately yours anymore.
If you buy a cloned vehicle, it is never really yours. If and when the VIN switch is discovered, the car you paid for will be taken and given back to the original owner or the insurance company.
Georgia investigators describe a series of similar VIN swapping crimes. Legitimate Alabama titles were issued after numerous fraudulent Georgia titles were surrendered, a special agent reported.
You can't have this anymore. So you can get all your stuff out of it.
The same day Chidima's car was seized in the same city, the same agent impounded another stolen vehicle the buyer said he got from a different car dealer.
You did nothing wrong. It's just that somebody duped you and sold you a car that was stolen.
How much time is left on your note?
3 years.
You have 3 years left on this loan.
True.
And you don't have the car.
And I don't have the car.
Chidima called Honda South again and again, transferred into a full voicemail.
About a woman who was sold a stolen car? by your dealership?
The dealership didn't return our calls either.
The receptionist said they've received many calls from her. They knew exactly the vehicle that I was calling about. They said, is this about the Jeep? Hey, how are you? I'm looking for Troy.
So we went in person to speak with the general manager.
He's not here right now, okay? I've been calling him for weeks and weeks and weeks, and he's not calling me back about this stolen car that was sold.
Help me out. Help my children out. I have my babies asking me, are we going to be okay? Because they've seen me cry so much. I don't think my babies have seen me cry this much. Because it's so heartbreaking. And it's just a vehicle, and I could just get another one. But what about what I've lost? And what about the inconveniences of it? And who says I have the extra to go back get another one right now? Who says that? How do you know I have an extra to get another one? Because I really don't.
After our multiple attempts to reach the dealership, the general manager agreed to meet with Chidima, and she recorded their conversation.
The title that we have is fake. Or we didn't know. This person purchased that vehicle somewhere in Alabama or registered the vehicle in Alabama, came in over here and traded it in and purchased another vehicle. Of course, we can't find him now because the phone number, everything changed.
How much is the payment?
$609 without the interest, yeah.
Per month, you're writing a $609 check for a car that you don't even have for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
You haven't done nothing wrong. All you did just purchase the vehicle, right? It falls on us. And I'm going to take care of this. And I'm going to go ahead and make the payment for this month for you. I'm going to go ahead put you on the one of our, the SUV.
It turns out VINs are incredibly easy to fake. We found laser-etched VIN plates for sale online, and we ordered one matching Chidima's fake VIN, no questions asked. One tip is to match the VIN under the windshield with the one inside the driver's door. It's printed on the manufacturer's build sticker. But we found several of those for sale online too, printing official-looking stickers with whatever you'd like. The best way to protect yourself is to buy an inexpensive onboard diagnostic scanner. For less than $20, an OBD scanner will not only show you what that check engine light really means, the device will reveal the genuine VIN buried inside the car's computer. A simple solution that could have saved Chidima from unwittingly buying that stolen car.
If you could speak to that person who's done this to you and your family, what would you say to them?
Was it worth it? Whatever it was that you made out of it, was it worth it? You didn't think ahead. You didn't think about who it was going to hurt.
Wow, Brendan, you really feel for Chidima and her family, especially after hearing her just so hurt and upset about this. How is she doing? Is she going to get her money back, or what's the update?
Yeah, Andy, you've known me a long time, and I'm known for filling voids of silence with lots of talking, right? Especially in our investigative office. But the most important thing we can do as investigative reporters when doing an interview is listening.
Yeah.
And when Chidima started breaking down, the human part of you wants to just embrace that person or say some words to make them feel better. We actually have to stop and listen. And I'm glad we did, because we heard how this was affecting her. This was more than a car.
Right.
This was how she would get her daughter's asthma medication, which she still wasn't able to pick up. She was taking Uber every single day to drop off her kids at school and to pick them up and to get to work as a nurse. She's an in-home care nurse. So that's why it was so important for her to get a car, to get some wheels. We still have not heard, at the time of this recording, we have not heard from the dealer directly, but we do have the dealer's voice, the general manager from Honda South, on the recording that Chidima made. And on that recording, he says, the general manager, that he is going to give her a loaner on the spot. She confirms they did. They gave her another SUV. And also that they were going to work to buy the car back from her, even though they're not going to physically get it back, because it goes back to the original owner from whom it was stolen or to the insurance company. But they're going to give her a full refund. That's what they said. Now, it hasn't happened yet, but we're going to keep tracking.
Yeah, so the dealership is kind of a victim in all this too.
Yeah, I mean, it appears they are, because, at least according to what they told Chidima, they were given this car in trade for a regular purchase. Now, there is some due diligence that the dealer could have done. Any dealer could do. If you're taking a car in trade, often what they do is they take the car to the service department and they have a service technician give it the once over, check the tires, check the brakes, check the engine. Well, there are VIN, or vehicle identification numbers, etched throughout the vehicle, inside the door, as we showed you, but also in the engine compartment. There is a VIN plate, a vehicle identification number plate. They could have checked to see if that matched, or they could have plugged in their own diagnostic scanner. Every single car dealer that has a service department has a onboard diagnostics computer that will verify that VIN number. They could have just done that to match what was on the paperwork. It appears they didn't.
I'm so glad that you had a solution to the issue in your story. And I want to talk a little bit more about the scanner. Can you remind me how much does it cost? And is the expectation really is to get one of these and the next time you go buy a vehicle to bring it with you to a dealership and make sure? I mean, wow.
I rarely give advice and say, here's what you should do. This is one of those times I'm going to break that rule.
Yeah.
Here's what you should do. Go to Walmart or go to Amazon.com for less than $20. It's $19.95, like the old commercials used to say. Order by midnight tonight to get your free gift. But for $19.95, you can get one of these OBD2 scanners. That's onboard diagnostic scanners. Underneath your dashboard, right below the steering wheel, there's a little port. Sometimes it has a cover on it. You just plug it in. The port powers, when you turn the car on, powers the device. And the device has a simple menu. You should get one of these not only for buying used cars, because you can verify the VIN. You're going to save yourself a lot of money. $19.95 is nothing. But also you can use it to see not only if there's a check engine light on when you own your car. When you own your car, you get that check engine light. You're like, yeah, I'm going to take it into the mechanic, and the mechanic is going to charge me all this money. You can see what the code is. Sometimes it's a small error that can be fixed, or sometimes it's a bad sensor, and it's not a big deal. You can keep driving your car. You can also reset. You can reset that light, the check engine light, and turn it off from these OBD2 scanners, which is another reason to get one, because if you're going to buy a used car from a dealer or from a private party, you can check to see what codes were recently cleared. So what if there were 3 error codes that they cleared so the dashboard was clean, there were no lights on?
I think that has happened to me, actually.
Well, and that's what great reason to get one of these scanners. The only reason I knew is because I owned one already for that very reason, and I was able to plug it in for this story to demonstrate, but I never thought of using it to check a VIN. It's something I learned doing this story.
And I wonder if the dealership on the spot would allow you to do that. And if they don't, maybe that's telling.
Yeah, you're the customer at the end of the day. You can also read the odometer. It'll tell you how many miles are on the car. What if it doesn't match the display on the screen? It's a lot harder to roll back odometers. They used to be mechanical, and you could literally just dial them back, just ratchet them back. But it is just helpful to sort of verify. Hell, look, trust but verify. My brother was a car dealer his whole life. The most honest guy you'd ever meet, but he was the first to tell me trust but verify.
Last 2 questions, Brendan. One is, do you think this is part of a criminal syndicate situation, or is it these are one-offs? And then the second question is, pull back the curtain. How did you even find out about this issue?
Yeah. So first question, yes, these are part of very organized, essentially criminal gangs, if you will steal these cars, and then they have to figure out a way to offload them. Most of the big busts we've seen were multiple vehicle busts. It ties into our airport car theft investigation. You saw those were gangs too, mostly stealing high-end cars where they could turn them around. Some of these cars are worth more than $100,000. The luxury vehicles, they can turn those around and get still pennies on the dollar, but make nearly 6 figures on that car if they can just sort of launder the title. So that the making fake documents to get a real title. So think about it. You're not making a fake title because that can be detected.
Right.
You're presenting fake documents to get a real title from the state, often out of state. So these came from Alabama in this case, and then Georgia issued a title with the trade of the real Alabama title that was obtained fraudulently. The Department of Revenue in Georgia confirms that this is a problem that is essentially widespread in terms of they received many of these fake titles, and that's how they knew to knock on Chadima's door to actually repossess her vehicle, or at least impound it to get it back to the real owner. Remind me your second question.
Yeah, just how did you find out about this?
Of course. So we got a tip from Chadima. She's like, she wanted help often.
Yeah.
It came in, and I actually had assigned it to one of our consumer forward-facing investigators who do more of these sort of quicker turn investigations. Where I kind of took it back was I said, wait, I want to see if this is part of a larger problem.
Yeah.
So that does kind of go back to your first question. Once I saw that this was a widespread and nationwide problem, all of that sound you heard from around the country was from stations that with which we're affiliated, gray television stations all around the country, and they've done one-off stories on this. We're able to put that together and say, look, this is not only a problem, but you can protect yourself, and here's how to do it.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me and ask you, hey, how do you come up with your stories? This is a clear example of the public just reaching out to us. Brendan, thank you so much for sharing this really important information, this important story, and possible solutions to prevent this from happening to you. And you can catch more of Brendan's investigations and this story on AtlantaNewsFirst.com or wherever you get your podcasts.